All right, morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vays. Wanted to give you a little bit of a background. I know you can't see me, but you've seen me enough. But right there, that is the home of the Unconfiscatable Conference. And of course, we're in the shirt that you can't see. And that is the skyline of Las Vegas. So there you go. Really, really cool. It's actually really cool at night, obviously. Way better than during the day. All right. Lots of action in Bitcoin this morning. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow is the US elections. I'm not expecting the winner to be announced tomorrow, but we will be live streaming all day tomorrow, starting at approximately 2 p.m. Eastern. I've invited about 50 plus people. I've been just inviting people all day. We're going to try to make it like another one of those halving streams. I don't know if there'll be 50 people on at the same time. I'm not sure we'll have 50 on, but expect, 20 or 30 Bitcoiners to come through the show tomorrow all day. Let's go to the charts. I got your live chat up, guys. Yeah, I mean, when I travel, the time zones are also messed up. I'm looking at the live chat. And by the way, one of the dumbest things the world does, and there's lots of things that are dumb in the world. One of the dumber things that the world does is change clocks. That daylight savings time. Oh my God. Standard time, summertime, that needs to end. Like around the world, that shit needs to end. It is the biggest drain on productivity across the entire world ever. All right, let's go to charts. Of course, I am in Las Vegas, the home of the Unconfiscatable Conference. We got some good places that I can't wait to announce where the dinner is going to be, where the Scammy Awards are going to be. Axe throwing will be on. We just got to make sure that the America is not in the middle of a civil war after this election before we start taking ticket prices. Also have to make sure, we're not all tied to our beds or radiators with handcuffs because of COVID. So once we're sure that people are allowed to leave their house without getting shot, we're going to go ahead and put this conference on sale. And by getting shot, I mean, you know, both authorities or the civil war that could be coming if the wrong guy gets elected. It's just bad. It's uh, it, it's insane what's going on. How does daylight savings time drain productivity? Try scheduling conferences, scheduling meeting calls as Australia moves to one direction and U.S. London move in another direction. It's just one of the dumbest things you can do. All right, let's go to the charts. Oh, that was the hyperwave look. Hey, the month has ended and we got our next monthly candle. Let me get these arrows out of the way. Not working with the mouse today, so that's going to be a little bit tricky. Well, here's something interesting, guys. It appears that the month of November is an MRI warning top. That is interesting. That is very interesting. Now, this means one of two things. Oh, it could mean one of infinitely many things, but here's what it means to me. It is possible that we are going to take a deeper pullback. This deeper pullback could begin this month, next month, or January. Now, me telling you that sometime over the next 3 months, Bitcoin is going to pull back isn't exactly useful information. But it is useful information to me in saying that the run up we had since March, and we have tripled. What do you mean tripled? We have went 5x probably since March. Let me see. Probably have gone 5x. Well, we're going to cherry pick the low. And we have gone, did we go up 500%? No, we did not. So we went up 250%. So we went up, no, it had to be more than that, right? That seems a little low. Oh yeah, from 4,000 to 14. Yeah, that's over 3x. That's 3.5x. So we've gone up 3.5x, or 250%. That's right, because 100% is 2x, 200% is 3x. So we've gone up 3.5x. We've gone up $10,000 in the price of Bitcoin since the cherry picked low. If we do a more realistic version, which is where we go from body to body of a candle. Let's be clear here. We've only gone up 119%, so it's about 2x and change. Gone up from 6.5 to 14K. That's a pretty decent rise. And if you look back in the 2017 bull market, we had 3 MRI tops in a row. Now look at that first MRI top. Let's compare them. I was not prepared for this. This is all happening, in real time. Oh, wow. This is what happens when you use the log charts, guys. Log charts are tricky. So right here, and I have no mouse. So in our first MRI top last time, we had gone up 163% from the cherry-picked low and 135% from the end of monthly close. That is very compatible. Now look at the big difference between the two. This is actually great. I'm really enjoying this discussion. I don't need these Fibonacci's. I'm gonna take them out. They're just blocking my view. I'm gonna leave the trend line. So here's the interesting part. Look at the slight difference in these. Though in this MRI top, and by the way, we bottomed on that orange arrow, which means we had the MRI warning. The next candle actually was not a bullish candle at all, but it didn't satisfy the condition of an MRI bottom, but we still had that orange arrow. Here we have that red arrow. We actually went a little bit higher. We topped on the candle following the MRI top, which happens quite often, which is why I never trade this candle to the upside after an MRI top. I just let it go. As bullish as this candle was, I was not bullish on that candle per se. I was waiting for my pullback, which I did get. I remember back then very well. Look at the consolidation that we had. Well, we can say this was a big up candle, but then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of consolidation, and then the MRI top candle broke us out. If you look at the current frame, we didn't have multiple months of consolidation. We've basically gone straight up. So to me, this is a legitimate top on a monthly scale starting this month, this November. And I am looking for my pullback. Now, is it possible that sometime in November, we go to that 14,500 area before the actual pullback? I think it is slightly more than likely. So I give it, say, a 55% chance. We bounce from this area. Right after the election, we still go to that $14,500 area, but I am expecting a top. I am expecting a top this month, next month, or the following month. Now, if the top is coming in January, that top could actually rival 20K. Like if the top is coming, if we're gonna still move with the trend for 3 more months, I can certainly see us going to that $16,000, $17,000, $18,000 range before the inevitable pullback. But I do feel that we're going to start pulling back before we break 15K. I expect that pullback to go no lower than 11,000. And then from there, we make a push to 20,000. Now, here's a bunch of if statements. If we do pull back from under 15,000 and we reverse from no lower than 11,000, I expect the next short-term top to be in the vicinity of 20,000 before pulling back to 15,000 before breaking out to above 20,000. As crazy as that sounds, that's the most modest calm scenario, and that would take about a year to play out. If we start pulling back right here, right now, let's go to the smaller time frame, weekly chart. If we start pulling back right here, right now, if the top is already in, I still expect the pullback to be no lower than 11,000. This line right here, blue line, 11,000. And then everything is still the same. I still expect us to then go back to approximately 20K, then pull back to approximately 14K, and then do the same thing. But if we continue up, if we never get a 20% pullback, if we never even make it to 12,000, and we continue up and we break 15,000, then I'm expecting us to top closer to 20,000. And then it becomes very, very tricky. From that $20,000 zone, we can either pull back to 12, which is going to be a 40% pullback. That's the ideal situation. But if we go too high too fast, if we move up to 20,000 very quickly, we can then see another catastrophe, similar to what happened in 2019. And then we pull back from 20 all the way down to 7 or maybe 8, because the 200-week moving average would be a lot higher. It would be like 8 or 9. And if we go up too high too fast, I would expect us to come all the way back down. I don't know what disaster it will be. Could be similar to COVID, but some disaster will happen. And I would expect Bitcoin to go back to 7,000, 8,000 sometime in 2021 or early 2022 before the eventual breakout. So in a perfect world, we don't go to 20 very quickly. We actually pull back to that $12,000 area. So here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart is on an extension A top right now. And I have no idea if we have topped on this swing, but if we go lower, if we go below 13K, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call 14,100 as the swing high, looking for 12. But until we, actually close some daily candles below 13, I'm still assuming that we're going to push up one more time next week, especially next week, maybe the week after. It's going to be very difficult to get to a weekly MRI top. It'll be challenging. If we do get to a weekly MRI top, we either got to go straight up to 17, 18K, or we got to consolidate. If we consolidate in order to get an MRI top, I'm not going to consider that kind of an MRI top as a big breakdown. Like, see right here is an MRI top in consolidation mode. And an MRI top in consolidation mode, to me, means at worst, it's more consolidation before inevitable breakout. I was leaning 50-50 on a pullback down to 7 versus the consolidation. I'm sure you guys heard me in the videos. I hate having, this is a true MRI top because it made a new closing high and a new swing high. And while the new swing high was clearly a swing high, the closing high was not. It was in line with 3 weeks earlier, and that's consolidation. And I don't like MRI tops or bottoms in consolidation. Like if you look at this one, this MRI bottom was not in consolidation. It swung low and immediately reversed. It just basically blew its load in one candle. As of right now, the weekly chart to me is still bullish for potentially a few more weeks. I would love to get a weekly MRI top. I'd love it. But there's going to be some conflicts because the daily is ending soon. The daily sometime on Wednesday. If we do bounce here, and I'm liking this bounce because the stock market is bouncing. If you look at the daily stock market, we are bouncing. This is a borderline double low, but not really. We did not make a new swing low and we did not make a new swing close. Obviously, we stayed a decent amount above the closing low and a decent amount above the swing low. So this is a legitimate reversal. But tomorrow, all hell can break loose. But not even tomorrow, actually. On Wednesday, all hell can break loose. And Bitcoin is primed for an MRI swing high on Wednesday, as you can see by the numbers. We're already on number 7 of trend. And I would love to see a swing high and a swing close on Wednesday, setting us up for a swing high around 14,500 and a close above 14,000. We have not had a daily close above 14,000. And I would love to see one. This is the highest daily close that we had on the swing, and it was at 13,816. So I would love to see a daily close above 14,000 and a swing high above 14.5. Though that would be one hell of a day. But we could also have a swing high to 14.4 and a close around 14.2, and then it's a normal day. This so far is promising. If the market continues to rally the rest of the day, and we can zoom in on this chart a little. If the market rallies here the rest of the day, it's very promising for Bitcoin to still break out. Notice how Bitcoin isn't all that correlated anymore. It's correlated on an intraday basis, but not in combination. Stock market has been falling since early October, and Bitcoin has been, hanging in there pretty nicely since early October. In fact, it's been rising very nicely since early October. But intraday, it has some correlation. Bitcoin flies high on good market days, and it holds its own on bad market days. So today, we actually dropped in Bitcoin, but the stock market is up. I actually think Bitcoin can be up to new highs by end of day today. Today is going to be a very interesting day. All right, I'm going to look at your live chat in a minute here. Let's glance at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is in a nice upwards channel. Debatable if the channel was or wasn't broken a couple of hours ago. That is a beautiful reversal candle on the 4-hour chart. Look at it bounce right off the support line. This is why I really like these support lines, and I never take them off my charts. Let's see what happens. Let's go to the hourly chart. Waiting for the MRI to load. Taking its sweet time. Oh, what happened? What happened with the MRI? I don't know. I don't know. Let's try this again. Maybe it just timed out. Usually it doesn't have a problem on the 1-hour. There it is. All right, so the MRI didn't help us time this bottom on the hourly chart. Just reversed on its own. That's okay. What about the 10-minute? I did that fake trade on the 10-minute yesterday, so check out that video. Well, the MRI helped you a little bit right here. The last low came in, it was a double MRI bottom right there. It already started reversing, but still on a good run. I'm bullish here. The 10-minute chart here is very bullish. If I was to take on a trade right now on Bitcoin, I would go long if we break the current candle's high. Just like we did yesterday. I would go long if we break the current candle's high. And if I'm long, my stop loss would be just below this latest swing low. This would be a very low risk, probably high leverage, very low risk, 10-minute candle trade. I would go long next candle or this candle, doesn't matter, at the break of this candle's high. A new high on current candle gets me in right there. Okay, so we break the green line, I have a long trade. If we break the green line, my stop loss becomes the blue line. In a perfect world, this happens next candle, not this candle. Can you look at the election polls? I mean, I can, but I don't really care. We'll look at them tomorrow. We got like a 6-hour stream tomorrow, guys. I'll look at it tomorrow. Who do you think will win? I mean, I'm pretty confident Trump will win. If we break 14,000, how long do you think it will take to get to 20? So I don't know. Technically, we broke 14,000 already on a daily basis. Look, I don't know. I laid out all of my scenarios already. If we break 14,000, we can either go straight up to 20,000, in which case we hit 20,000, in November, or we pull back to 12 and then we break 20,000 sometime in like January, March, or February. Who knows? So I have absolutely no idea. Now, I would have a better idea if we're breaking 14,000 in say February, or we consolidate. The break of 14,000 now doesn't give me any indication of when 20K. But if we do pull back to 12,000 first, and then we come back to break 14,000 in the near future, I would have a much better look. So we're almost long in this trade. And I'm saying almost, we're not long yet. As you can see, we have not yet broken that green line. This is a sale. I don't have any real money on it. Boom, and my green star is there. This is not live trading, guys. Please do not follow the leader. That is not how this channel works. But I am long in this mock educational fake trade right now, and my stop loss is the blue line, just like we did yesterday. Now, my battery will once again die, so I can't stay with you guys forever. And let's see how much risk that is. That is $45 of risk on a Bitcoin. That means if you're gambling with one Bitcoin, you are all and no leverage, you are risking $45. That's it. That's your risk, 45 bucks. Now, if you go in 10x leverage, you're risking $450. So there you are. Now, what I need is I need the price of Bitcoin to earn me $45. And when it does, I will be setting that stop loss to break even so that I would not lose any more money, or I would not lose any money on this trade. question, if we look at the history of Bitcoin, when we broke 14,000, we went to 20,000 in 20 hours. Do you think, what do you think? No, I don't expect that this time. It was very different last time, very different. If we break 14,000, if we close the daily candle above 14,000 for the first time in, say, next May, I would say that we can go to 20,000 in 20 hours. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was 20 hours. But no, that's not going to happen this time. We were at the end of a bubble. When you're at the end of a bubble, things move fast. We're in the beginning of the next bubble, so things move slow. So no, I'm expecting nothing like that. Hey, Tone, do you think all the big companies buying Bitcoin in the background, would they let pullback happen? They are holding huge amounts forever. Of course, smart companies would have smart people buying Bitcoin, anticipating pullbacks to buy more. They want the pullbacks. See, big companies aren't scared. If they did their research, on Bitcoin, they're not scared of a Bitcoin pullback. Of course they would. In fact, they would love it. Could we go to 11.8 to test the 200-day moving average? That's a good question. I didn't know there was a 200-day moving average at 11.8. And there isn't. Here's the daily chart, and there's your 200-day moving average. It's not at 11.8. It is sitting here at 10.3. What you're thinking of is the 50-day moving average, which would be at 11.8 in a couple of days. And the answer is yes, that's possible. But I think that we would probably go to the 128-day moving average, which is closer to 11. Do you think Trump is right that we will flip the House back to red? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to flip the House. He's down like, I think, 21 people in the House. And here's what you have to know about the House. So, look, I'm not even an American, right? Like, I'm an immigrant. And so in the House, they get voted on every 2 years. And every now and then, they retire. Unfortunately, the 103-year-old Pelosi doesn't want to retire anytime soon. God help us all. She's actually third in line for president. And if something happens to Pence and Trump, you get Pelosi. Probably why she's never going to retire. And I think the Democrats only have like 8 people retiring from the House, and they're not going to go for re-election. But the Republicans, the Democrats have like 8 or something, but the Republicans have like 20 something. So there's 20 plus Republicans that are not up for re-election in the House. And they're down like 20 something Republicans. That's why the Democrats have the House. So Republicans need to literally win like 40 plus seats. Because it's almost easier in the House. They seem to be there forever. So it's easy to run for re-election in the House, and it's hard to it's harder to to be the new guy. So it's going to be very challenging to flip the House. The Republicans I think it'll be easier to hold the Senate for the Republicans. All right, let's look at gold. Well, gold's popping with the stock market, and as you can see, we are there with the MRI. GBTC premium is at 19. I would love to unload my GBTC next week at above $14,000 Bitcoin. We were looking good there for a minute, but we are now pulling back. I did not make enough to go to a break-even stop loss, so we're still in the trade, still in this educational mock trade, risking $45. And if you are trading, you should start trading with no leverage at all, so that you literally limit your risk to something like $40. I would love to see this go up, 50, 60 bucks, up to 13.6, and then I can calmly set my break-even stop loss and not have to worry about it. That's right. That is Vegas in the background behind me. If Biden gets elected, could Bitcoin crash? No. Well, anything can happen. I do not believe Bitcoin would crash under Biden. In fact, I think Bitcoin will probably go up more under Biden. Still watching Bitcoin on a 10-minute chart. We can go back to the daily here. More questions. Could Bitcoin be at 120,000 by the end of next year? Yes, it can be. I think 120 by the end of next year is a little bit optimistic. It looks like you got your 120K number from Plan B stock to flow. I don't think it will be that high, but is it possible? Yes, anything's possible. I think the possibility of Bitcoin being 120,000 by the end of next year is greater than Bitcoin being 5,000 at the end of next year. What are your takes on earnings this week? No opinion. I haven't been paying attention. I'm normally an earnings trader, but have not been paying attention. I would love to see a breakout. Like I did get that green star. Look, the last time we got a green star, the star obviously showed up in the beginning of the candle, but we did pull back after this big, massive candle. Then we went back to the bottom of that candle. This was not as big of a breakout, and I'm still comfortable here. All right, let's see. My moderators are sending me some questions. Can you look at HTZ? I don't know what HTZ is. Hertz. Oh, Hertz is bankrupt, aren't they? They look bankrupt. That's the daily chart. I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know what all that is. That's insane. Robinhood traders are dumb. That's my only comment. I wouldn't touch this dumpster fire. Is Vegas still lively or zombie land? It was pretty lively for Halloween. Other than that, it's zombie land. Bars get a fine if people are dancing, so you're not allowed to dance. That's the new law around here. You can't dance. That's not a joke, by the way. I wish it was a joke, but it's not a joke. All right, so candle's about to end. Not much is changing here. Can you look at the 10-year US Treasury? Yeah, I can do that. I haven't looked at those in forever. Fixed income, bonds yields, 10-year yield. Should probably look at it on weekly scales. That's much better. All right, there's our 10-year yield. 10-year yield bottomed out with COVID, and I don't think it's going to go up anytime soon. I mean, the economy is in the shitter, right? So TLT, the bond tradable ETF, tops with the MRI on a weekly. I don't see much. I see more consolidation. If anything, I can see yields going lower. Look, if you are borrowing money right now, what are you going to do with that money other than buy Bitcoin? Like, what else is there to do with money? You can't open a business. So what are you going to do with the money? No one is silly enough to buy real estate right now. That shit's going to crash. There's a real problem in the US because all temporary laws become permanent laws. It's kind of how the government operates. The law that you're not allowed to evict people is going to be a pain in the ass to remove. So right now, landlords aren't allowed to evict people. So the people can live there rent free and they can't evict them. And when do you remove that? It's when does the government decide to remove the masks? So once you put in dumb laws, and a mask is not a law, but not being able to evict people is actually a law in a lot of states, and I'm not sure about federally. So if the states start to evict people and Joe Biden gets elected, he's going to go, you can't evict these people. You can't send them off to the streets. And what we have is the way my family used to live in Russia, where there's no such thing as eviction because it's a communist living scheme. So if you can't evict anyone, there's no more private ownership of real estate. So why on earth would anybody buy anything right now in real estate? Real estate prices can crash 50, 60, 90%. If a landlord can't evict anyone, why on earth would anyone buy any land? Sell your property while you still can. At least that's what I'm thinking. That's my personal plan. I'm shit. If I decide to, not live in my place and I want to rent it out, but I can't evict anyone if they rent it, why on earth would I ever rent it out? Try evicting someone in a blue state right now. Good luck with that. I'm expecting real estate to drop. Not in all areas, but in certain areas for sure. You can evict. Wait till Biden and Harris win. Then we'll see about that statement. Yeah, if Trump's reelected, you'll be able to evict. If Biden and Harris win, oh boy. By the end of the decade, you may not be able to evict. The answer to your question is the weather. Why would anyone want to live, do business in California? It's the weather. And eventually, the weather ain't going to be enough to keep you there. I'm surprised California allows you to evict. All right, whoa, a lot of questions are coming in. Oh, let's go see how the trade's doing. It's not doing well, but that's okay. This is why we have stop losses. Tone, on monthly chart, if we pull back from here to 11,000, does it form a cup and handle? I don't want to do what ifs. Would it form a cup and handle? If it forms a cup and handle, we'll deal with it then. Check out Mogo. I don't even know what Mogo is. What is Mogo? That's the weekly chart. I like the daily chart. It's not interesting to me. It's just consolidating. Question on EMRI, the higher time frame indicator only showing weekly and monthly. Any other options possible here? Yeah, you can set your own. You can set any of them. So here's my MRI, and you have 3 custom time frames. You can do whatever you like. It will be just, custom 1, custom 2, and custom 3. So it's right here. Just got to turn them on. Here and here and here. Whatever you like. ZI. I have no idea what ZI is. Again, not interesting to me. The low was there, came in with extensions B and C and EMRI together. MRI top here. I mean, an MRI bottom is probably coming soon. Very soon. Probably in a couple of days. I'd wait till earnings is over. But could be reversing at the I'll be interested when the MRI bottom comes. Should be in a next candle will probably be the warning candle, and the candle after will probably be the MRI. Tilray. I was trading this for a while. This looks promising to me. I'm a little more bullish than bearish. You can see the weekly MRI bottom right there, which is where I picked it up. But I was out with the MRI top. This looks promising to me. I'm pretty bullish. Weeds being legalized in more US states. Hey guys, I don't want to look at stocks anymore. Everything's going to go crazy next 2 days, so what does it matter? We'll look at stocks after the election. Let's go back to that trade. Still alive. In fact, if we go back to the green line, I'm even more bullish than the first time. So if we get back to this green line, well, a little bit higher than that green line, there's two things that I would be doing. One is I would consider making my position bigger. And the other thing I would definitely do is if we break this line and we close the candle above that line, even if we close a penny above the line, I would be moving my stop loss to the bottom of the new swing low. In fact, I'm already moving it right there. So now I am risking only $40 instead of 45, because at this point, if we go below that, I would have no confidence that we wouldn't go below the other one either. So I have now lowered my risk to $35 instead of $45. Okay, so that is very low risk. Because this trade was only supposed to last an hour or two, and I'm already in this trade for 20, 30 minutes, and the trade isn't working for me. So what's the point? Why am I going to waste my time? If the trade doesn't work, I'm just going to get out. I should have done this video at 8 in the morning and taken the MRI buy trade. Of course, I would have done something similar over here and gotten hit on the stop loss. But I'm still confident this is going to go higher. It would suck to get stopped out and then watch it go higher, but that happens to every trader. Remind me about MoneyGram after the election. Yeah, I agree. The reason to legalize cannabis is to actually earn some tax revenue. I want to see this trade work out before I end the stream, but I will be ending the stream soon. Hey guys, don't forget, come join us tomorrow because we have a big show tomorrow. We got some awesome thumbnails for that. If you go to my YouTube channel, tomorrow, live all day. I wonder where it shows up. Well, we'll be streaming live all day tomorrow to cover or talk about the US elections and what it means for Bitcoin. Yeah, I agree, Bernoulli. So much money is wasted on enforcing marijuana laws. You save a lot of money by not enforcing, the marijuana ban, and you earn money from revenue on marijuana sales. I agree. Tone, have you bought Bitcoin on PayPal? No, I don't think you can yet. Please, if someone knows if you can buy Bitcoin on PayPal, I would probably do it because I have money on PayPal. It's just sitting there in dollars. You know my answer to the HODL position. The best time to buy and HODL Bitcoin was yesterday. You missed it. Can you share the guest list for tomorrow? I don't know the guest list. I send out invitations to like 100 Bitcoiners, and then I don't like mandate that they tell me when they're coming on or if they're coming on. If they want to come on, they can come on. It's a very like free market kind of show. So several people said they join. Novogratz may swing by again. Send out the invite to the Winklevi twins again. It was basically the same people for the halving show. I sent the invites to mostly the same people. I haven't heard back from many of them. Like Safe never hit me back, and maybe he'll join. Hopefully he'll join. He joined last time. So it's the same as the halving stream. I tried hitting up the same people. Dan Held might swing through. Jimmy's going to be there. I got to DM Giacomo again. Guys, I have like a 6-hour video about the MRI. Just watch the video. You have access to the video. It's in the same video playlist that you had if you had the prior indicator. It's there. My settings for the MRI are always different. I change them up. Like I usually have that turned off. Watch the video. I don't want Partnoy on my channel. I can try and invite Sailor. He doesn't know who I am. Tone, you're so obnoxious with the Biden fear-mongering. He's literally a corporate centrist. No, he might be, but not Kamala Harris and whoever follows him. The problem isn't Biden. Biden is 77. I don't think Biden's going to be president for more than 12 months. The problem is not Biden. And Biden is as corrupt as hell, so he's bought and paid for. The reason why I like Trump is because Trump isn't corrupt. I hated Bush. I was not a fan of Bush, okay? I'm not just a straight-up Republican. But you know how many people say if so-and-so wins, I'm leaving this country for good? A lot of them are bullshit. I'm actually serious. Hey guys, I know I can invite 1,000 people to my show, but the harder it is to invite a person, the less likely I'm gonna take the time and do it. Like, Tone, why don't you invite, well, I don't want to say names that you know. Tone, why don't you invite Trump to the show? Well, it's complicated. It'll take a lot of effort and I'll probably fail. Tone, why don't you invite, I don't know, Elon Musk to the show. I mean, that's great, but who's going to take the time to get Elon Musk on my show? So if it's a person I don't know, and if it's a person I don't think knows me, I'm not going to go through the trouble of cold calling, cold messaging, promoting myself, explaining who I am, explaining why they should come on the show. So that's not in my interest. So the more difficult it is to invite someone, the less likely I am to do it. With Phil, he messaged me, Tone, because he doesn't have a show. The first time I messaged him, the last time Phil came on my show, Phil messaged me. He's like, hey, Tone, we'd love to come on your show. And I'm like, great, how about tomorrow? Like, I'm very flexible, but I'm also kind of lazy when it comes to putting in hours and hours of work of getting people onto my show. Like, someone says David Weiss would be an interesting addition, but I don't know who David Weiss is. So, and now you're asking me to Google who that is, look at his content, then decide if he's actually good for my show, then try to message a person I don't know to convince him to come to the show. I'm not, that's the thing. That's not something I do. Yeah, no, I'm not paying anyone to come on the show, just like no one pays me to come on the show. So I'm still waiting for this trade to go back into the green. I already raised my stop loss. And if we go back into the green, I'll probably raise it again and lower that risk to $30. I'm just going to keep lowering my risk until the trade either stops out or ends up in my favor. Tone, what do you think about Alessio's latest video? I don't watch other people's videos. I'm sorry, guys. My trading opinions are literally my own. I don't watch other people's. I watch other people's YouTube channels, but not trading channels. So I really want this to go into the green before I end the stream. I would love to be on Joe Rogan. That would be awesome. All right, I'll wait till the start of the next candle, and then we're gonna call it a day. If the trade stops out, then we'll call it a day. I was very happy with it at the top of this current candle, but now that it's pulling back again, not as interesting. I still think it's gonna break out, but I don't have the patience to sit there and wait on it. Like, another option, because it's consolidating now for so long, another option you have is if you didn't have a lot of leverage, you can loosen up your stop loss instead of tightening it. and, you know, giving your trade more room to move. You know, like that. But I would rather not do that. Can I just do Control Z? There we go. I'd rather just leave it there. If it's gonna break out, it should break out like this next hour. Otherwise, I'm not confident that we're going higher today. Is it more difficult to interview other interviewers? I don't like to interview interviewers. I like to interview subject matter experts. So what is Joe Rogan's subject matter expert? What is his expertise? Comedy, MMA, fighting, and how to run the most successful podcast in the world. I mean, those are his expertise. So that's what I would be interviewing him on. And those aren't exactly my topics. Like, I don't know the right questions to ask about those topics. But Joe Rogan's expertise is asking good questions about your expertise. So it makes a lot more sense. Boom, we're out of the trade. So it makes a lot more sense for me to be on Rogan than for Rogan to be on my show. On the other hand, you know, somebody like a Dan Held, who's both a Bitcoin subject matter expert and is now starting to interview people, that becomes an either or. He can interview me or I can interview him, but and that's fine. So so there are people that are I'm not really an interviewer. I'm more of a subject matter expert than an interviewer. Right, so I'm no longer in this trade, but I did move the stop loss to lower my risk to only 35. Just wasn't breaking out. It might break out now that it stopped me out. Had I left my original $45 of risk stop loss, I would have still been in the trade. So it's really up to you and your risk tolerance. Can Bitcoin be manipulated by Chinese miners? I mean, anything can be manipulated on a short time scale. Can the Chinese miners manipulate Bitcoin for an hour, a minute, maybe a day? Probably. Can they manipulate it for 6 months? Absolutely not. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you all had a good time. And join us tomorrow for Bitcoin and the election chat with a bunch of guests. All right, guys, thank you all for watching and see you all on the next one. I'll give you one more look at the Las Vegas skyline.